Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! Alright, let's get started. Pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, going to edit deck menu. And now today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a Dark States, Master of Gravity, Baromagnes, D-BT04. And I'm going to be using this Master of Gravity, Baromagnes, D-BT03 deck as the base of the deck I'm going to build. Alright, let's get started. Going to edit deck and entering edit deck. Here we are, and like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building today's deck profile video is a Dark States, Master of Gravity, Baromagnes deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT04. So first up, let's go to filter settings, pack, show only cards available in D-BT01, Genesis the 5 Greats, D-BT02, Brush the Legends, D-BT03, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT04, Awakening of Chakrabarti, Festival Collection 2021, and promo pack number 1, apply filter. Alright, so first up, the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3 this deck we're playing, Ride Deck, grade 3, Master of Gravity, Baromagnes, Skill, Auto as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, perform all of the following according to the number of cards in your soul. 5 or more, draw a card. 10 or more, this unit gets +1 critical and plus 10,000 power until end of battle. And 15 or more, both of you and your opponent put all of your rear guards into your souls, choose up to 2 cards from your soul and come to the rear guard circle, and those units get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So for Baromagnes, it's the main grade 3 Divine deck. Its skill, just by attacking and paying a counterblast of 1, you can more or less activate a bunch of effects according to the number of cards in your soul. With 5 or more, you can draw a card. 10 or more, your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical. 15 or more, you can move all rear guards from both players' fields to the soul, and you get a superior call 2 rear guards from the soul to give them 10,000 power. So for Baromagnes, its skill is to go into not only increase your hand size, increase your Vanguard's power and critical, but to also give yourself a chance to wipe out all of your opponent's rear guards and to give yourself more attacks to work with. So for Baromagnes, we got 4 on the deck, 1 the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the grade 3 Phantasmal Magician, Curtis, skill, for skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is Master of Gravity, Baromagnes, soul charge 2. Second skill, action, is the rearguard. If your soul is 10 or more cards, counterblast 2. If the cost is paid, all of your front row units plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Curtis, it's a support card for the Baromagnes deck. Its skill, the first one, just by calling to the rearguard while you have Baromagnes in your Vanguard, you can soul charge 2. So this first skill is a good way to build up your soul to later let you activate Baromagnes' skill. And the second skill, as long as you've got 10 or more cards in the soul, by paying a counterblast of 2, all of your front row units, Vanguard and rearguard plus 5,000 power. So this second skill is a good way to make all of your overall attacks more likely to hit. So for Curtis, you got 4 in the deck, keeping it that way. Next up, we're putting in the grade 3 normal order, Pandemonium Tactics. Skill order, play the counterblast of 1 if the cost is paid, soul charge 4. Then if you are in final rush, perform all of the following according to the number of cards in your soul. 6 or more cards, draw a card. 8 or more cards, all of your front row units get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. And 12 or more cards, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets plus 1 critical until end of turn. So for Pandemonium Tactics, it's mainly an order card meant to be support for the Bruce decks, but it can also be used with your Baromagnes deck as long as you don't mind only being able to use the soul charge of 4. Just by playing this order of a counterblast of 1, even though you cannot activate the final rush skills, you can still get a huge boost to your soul by soul charging 4 of this order card, which is a good way to build up your soul for Baromagnes' skill later on. So for Pandemonium Tactics, we're putting 4 in the deck, okay? And now the grade 2 lineup. For the grade 2 this deck, we're playing Ride Deck, grade 2, Electro Spartan, skill, first skill, auto. When this unit is written upon by your Master of Gravity Baromagnes, put a card from your hand to your soul. If the cost is paid, draw a card and soul charge 1. Second skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, soul charge 2. So for Spartan, it's the main grade 2 Divine deck. Its first skill, just by riding Baromagnes to top of him, as long as you don't mind giving up a card from your hand to your soul, not only can you draw 1 card, but you can soul charge 1. So for the first skill, it's a good way to build up your Vanguard soul for Baromagnes' skills and also increase your hand size a bit slightly. And second skill, just by calling Spartan to the rear guard, by paying the cost of Counterblast 1, you can Soul Charge 2. So the second skill, like the first skill, is a good way to build up your Vanguard Soul to later use Baromagnes' skill later on. Super Spartan, you got 3 in the deck, 1 the right deck, keep it that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Selfish Engraver, skill for skill, auto. As a rear guard, when this unit attacks hits, Soul Charge 1, second skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks. If your soul is 10 or more cards, put this into your soul. If the cost hits, counter charge 1. So for Engraver, it's a pretty decent card to play in your Dark States Nations decks, especially for Baromagnes. The first skill, just by landing a successful attack on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, you can Soul Charge 1. So for this first skill, it's a good way to build up your soul for having more cards in your soul to later activate Baromagnes' skill later on. And the second skill, after attacking, regardless if it hits or not, as long as you've got 10 or more cards in the soul, you have the option of moving your Engraver from the rear guard to the soul and countercharging 1. So for the second skill, it's a good way to not only build up your soul for Baromagnes' skill, but to also refund your counterblast for later skills in the game. So for Selfish Engraver, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Steam Mage Ashoda, not going to play this card anymore, taking it out. The Grade 2, Keenly Lootly, skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rear guard circle, if your Vanguard's Master of Gravity Baromagnes, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, choose any number of normal units from your soul, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn for each card chosen. Return all of the chosen cards to your deck and shuffle it. Cards from the right deck are returned to the right deck face up. So for Lootly, it's a support card for the Baromagnes deck. Its skill is by calling to the rear guard while Baromagnes is your Vanguard. By paying the cost of Counterblast 1, you can choose any number of normal units from your soul, and then this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of turn for each card chosen. Return all of the chosen cards to your deck and shuffle it. So this card is a good way to not only restock your deck in order to avoid the possibility of decking out, but to also give yourself a powerful rear guard to attack with Lootly for every card sent back to your deck by this unit's skill. So for Lootly, we've got 2 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2, Cutting Sword Dance, Kigra, skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rear guard circle, perform all of the following according to the number of cards in your soul. 7 or more, counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. If the cost is paid, choose a card from your soul and put it to your hand and Soul Charge 1. 13 or more, all of your front row units plus 5,000 power until end of turn. Super Kigra is a pretty decent card to play in your Dark States Nations decks, especially for Baromagnes. By calling it to the rear guard while you manage to secure a appropriate amount of cards in your soul, you can activate 1 or more of these abilities. With 7 or more cards in your soul, by paying the cost, you can take any card from your soul to put into your hand and Soul Charge. So this first ability is a good way to not only secure yourself a specific card you should take from your soul to your hand to either attack or defend with later, but to also build up your soul a bit more slightly by Soul Charging 1 and putting 1 card from your hand for the cost into the soul. And with 13 or more cards in your soul, you can also give your front row, Vanguard and rear guard included, a little extra power to work with. So overall, Kigra is a good way to not only increase your soul or to secure your hand, but to also increase your overall power in the front row. So for Kigra, we're putting 3 in the deck. Okay, next up, the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 1, Deep Sonicer, skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, Soul Charge 1, second skill, continuous as a rear guard during your turn. If your soul is 10 or more cards, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until. So for Sonicer, it's the main Grade 1 to play in this deck. The first skill, just by riding into the Vanguard circle, you can Soul Charge 1, so it's a good way to build up your soul early on to later activate Baromagnes' skill. And the second skill, as a rear guard, as long as you've got 10 or more cards in your soul, Sonicer can serve as a potential 18,000 point attacker from the front row or a 18,000 point booster from the back row. So for Sonicer, we got 1 the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1, Steam Battler Gungram, not going to play this card anymore, taking it out. The Grade 1, Recusal Hate Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard, skills for skill, continuous, Sentinel, second skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, it cannot be to end the battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Recusal Hate Dragon, it's a perfect guard for the Dark States Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding a card from your hand, you can completely block 1 enemy attack, but it also features a skill unique to it alone, or like to any D standard format perfect guards. When used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard cost, making it a no-cost perfect guard in desperate last resort situations. So for Recusal Hate Dragon, we got 4 in the deck, leaving that way. Next up, the Great One, Freeze Breeze, not going to play this card anymore, taking it out. And next up, we're putting in, let's see, what else can I put in the deck? Putting in the Great Ones, let's see. What would be a good choice? How about this one? The Great One, Brainwash Swirler, skills for skill auto. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle, soul charge 1, second skill auto as a rearguard. When your card is put into your soul by soul charge, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn, 10,000 if soul charge 2. So for Swirler, it's a pretty powerful card to play in your Dark State Stations decks, especially for Baromagnes. The first skill, just by calling to the rearguard, you can soul charge 1, so it's a no-cost skill to let you build up your soul to later activate Baromagnes' skill. And the second skill, whenever you have a Swirler in the rear guard and you soul charge, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you have the available option to make your Brainwash Swirler a potential 13,000 to 18,000 point attacker from the front row or a booster from the back row. So for Swirler, we're playing 4 in the deck. Okay, and picking 3 of these Sonicers out, only playing 1, okay. And next up, the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0's deck, we're playing Ride Deck, Grade 0, Uncanny Burning, Skill Auto. When this unit is written upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Burning, it's the starting unit of this deck. Just by riding on top of him, if you went second, draw a card. For Burning, we got 1 the Ride Deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we're playing the Grade 0, Flinty Slasher, Critical Trigger, playing 4, taking what? We're only playing 3 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0, Stem Deviate Dragon, Critical Trigger, Skill, Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost in hate, choose one of your units, it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Stem Deviate Dragon, it's a pretty decent critical trigger to play in your Dark State Stations decks. Its skill just like boosting an attack, regardless if hits or not. As long as you don't mind moving Stem Deviate from your rear guard into your soul, you can give one of your other units in the field Vanguard rear guard plus 2,000 power. So for Stem Deviate, it's a good way to not only build up your soul for later Soul Blast, but to also give your remaining attackers a little extra power to work with. So for Stem Deviate, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 0 Diablos Girls Natalia, front trigger, not going to place it anymore, taking it out, replacing it with the Grade 0. The Grade 0, Roost Wildmaster Riley, draw trigger, skill, continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Riley, it's a pretty powerful draw trigger to play in your Dark State Stations decks. Its skill just by guarding the bit while your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. This unit gets plus 5,000 shield, making Riley a potential 10,000 point shield all on her own. So for Riley, you're playing 4 in the deck. Okay, next up, the Grade 0. Steam Scarab Malnigal, Keel Trigger, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. And last but not least, the Grade 0, Hades Dragon, Deed of Resentment, Gamash Hell, Over Trigger, Skill Trigger, additional effect. You get during your turn, all of your Vanguards get plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until end of fight. So for Gamash Hell, it's an Over Trigger for the Dark State Station. Like any other Over Trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But it also features a skill unique to it alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, for the remainder of the fight, your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical. So Gamash Hell, ideally, it's an Over Trigger that's best used the earlier you reveal it in a drive check on your turn. For the earlier you reveal it in your drive check, for the rest of the fight, your Vanguard, you'll be able to pressure your opponent with a Vanguard with additional 10,000 power and plus 1 critical every turn. So for Gamash Hell, we got 1 in the deck, leaving that way. And with that, the deck's been built, Cardfight explained, so let's save the deck. Override deck being built, yes. And for the cards in this deck, we're playing 4, Grade 3, Master of Gravity, Baromagnes. 4, Grade 3, Phantasm Magician, Curtis. 4, Grade 3, Pandemonium Tactics. 3, grade 2, Electro Spartan. 4, grade 2, Selfish Engraver. 2, grade 2, Keenly Lutely. 3, grade 2, Cutting Sword Dance, Higra. 4, grade 1, Recusal Hate Dragon. 1, grade 1, Deep Sonicer. 4, grade 1, Brainwash Swirler. 1, grade 0, Uncanny Burning, starting unit. And for the triggers to this deck, we're playing 7 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, 4 heal triggers, and 1 over trigger, Gamma Shell. Alright, deck built, cards explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck. So leaving the edit deck menu, returning to main menu, going to fight menu, CPU fight, selecting the deck I just built, the D-BT04 Baromagnes deck. Selecting deck, and now choosing the opponent. Let's see, who would be a good opponent to test this deck out on? Let's see, I guess I'll test it out on Mika Shibuya, normal difficulty. Alright, the battle begins. Let's get started. And here we are, deciding who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to rock, I win, going first. Alright, drawing our starting hands. I got 2 criticals, a Pandemonium Tactics, a grade 2 Kigra, and a grade 3 Baromagnes. Alright, should hold on to the Baromagnes to Persona right with, the grade 2 to call and attack with, the order card to build up my soul, so I'll just send the 2 critical triggers back, redraw, Perfect Guard, and Curtis. Nice. Alright, it's my turn. I drew a draw trigger. Okay, I'm riding for my right deck, Deep Sonicer. For the right deck cost, let's see, gotta hold on to the order card, the grade 2. Let's see, the Persona Ride, a Perfect Guard, and Curtis. So gotta hold on to all these to build up my souls and to protect myself ideally. So I'll just ditch the draw trigger for the right deck cost. Right, Sonicer skill, I soul charge 1. The card I soul charged was a Swirler. Okay, not bad I guess. So end of turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent's riding the grade 1, Aesthesis Nami. Nami skill, Superior Calling, Eileen to the rear guard. Base skill, she draws a card. Calling her rear guard, Kadya. Adding power, okay. Here comes an attack from the Vanguard, 23k. I can't defend, so let the attack go through. No guard. Here comes her drive check, she's checking. Yes, heal trigger, she wasted a trigger. Nothing to heal, and no power to share, so 1 damage to me, and here it comes. Ow! Damage check. No trigger, okay. That's the end of my opponent's turn. It's my turn. I draw. Okay. I'm gonna ride for my right deck, Electro Spartan. For the right deck cost, let's see. Okay, then I guess I already have Tactics and Curtis to soul charge with, so I should hold on to the heal trigger and Perfect Guard to defend myself with, and the Persona right with to, well, Persona right with, so I guess I'll just ditch the grade 2 Kigra to ride for my right deck, Spartan. Alright, going to battle phase. Spartan attacks the Vanguard, 10k. The attack goes through, drive check. No trigger, Curtis, okay. And zap, 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger. Nice, 1 less card to Persona right with. And that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. She rides the grade 2, Aesthesis Kiora. Going to battle phase. Kiora attacks the Vanguard. Okay. 15k. Skill of Kiora, returning 1 card back to hand. The grade 1, alright. No guard, take the attack. She drive checks. No trigger, nice, safe. And here comes the damage. Ow! Damage check. Over trigger. Not bad, I guess. I draw a card, a heal trigger, and give the effect to my Vanguard. Bummed that I don't get to use the over trigger, but at least I managed to keep myself to 1 damage. I'm riding for my right deck, Master of Gravity, Baromagnes for the right deck cost. Let's see. Hold on to the Perfect Guard and the Persona Ride and the Order card as well. I should call the Curtises to attack with, so I'll just ditch one of the triggers for the right deck cost. So I'll ditch the heal trigger, Malnigal to ride, Baromagnes. And Spartan skill, I take a card from my hand to move into the soul. I'm taking a critical to move into the soul. And soul charge and draw. I drew another Curtis, not bad. I call Curtis to the rear guard. Call. Skill, I soul charge 2. Soul charge, Spartan and Engraver. Call one more Curtis to the rear guard. Call. Skill of Curtis. Soul charge 2. Spartan and a critical. Alright. That's all I can do for the time being. So going to battle phase. First up, Curtis attacks the Vanguard, 13k. The attack goes through, and boom, 1 damage. Damage check. Ah, come on, heal trigger. She heals 1 damage, and now her Vanguard's got 20k. Curtis cannot attack. Alright, Madness attacks the Vanguard. Skill, counterblast 1. With 10 cards in the soul, I can draw a card and give power and critical to my Vanguard. I drew another heal trigger. Come on, seriously? Alright, the attack goes through. Twin drive, first check. No trigger. Swirler, finally a great one to boost with. Second check. Yes, draw trigger. I drew a critical. Come on, why are all my triggers coming out like this? I give the power to Curtis. And here comes 2 damage to my opponent. Raining down, and boom! 2 damage. First check. Ah, come on, another trigger? Seriously? Effects added to her Vanguard, and second check. No trigger. Oh, now she doesn't get a no trigger. So now my remaining attacker cannot attack. Alright, end the turn. Here comes my opponent's turn. She rides the grade 3. Esthesis Kyrie. She calls the grade 3 Kinki and grade 2 Pauline. Alright. I need the counter blast to work with, so no guard. Let the attack go through. Here it comes. Out. 1 damage. Damage check. Heal trigger. Oh, come on. All my heal triggers out of the game. I give the power to the left side Curtis. I need more counter blast to work with. An attack from the Vanguard. Gonna let it go through. No skill of Kyrie. She returns 2 cards to hand. Returning 1. Okay. No guard. Took the attack. She twin drives. First check. Oh, come on. Heal trigger. Seriously? Why are all her triggers coming out the right way? And second check. No trigger. Perfect guard. Come on. Alright. Here comes 1 damage to me. And out. Damage check. No trigger. And now 1 more attack from the rear guard. Gotta block it. I'm guarding with a draw trigger. Skill plus 5,000 shield. 23k. Just enough. Attack blocked. Okay, safe. Stand and draw. Critical trigger. Come on. Why are all my triggers coming out? I Persona Ride Baromagnes. Persona Ride. I draw a card. Oh, come on. Another critical? Seriously? Why are all my triggers coming out like this? I'm calling Swirler to the rear guard. Call. Swirler skill. I soul charge 1. Soul charge. Swirler skill. When I soul charge, plus 5,000 power. Then activate Pandemonium Tactics. Wait, let's see. Not yet. I can soul charge 4 cards. I'm at 18 deck. I can't afford to give up any of my rear guards. My opponent only has these 2 rear guards. I'll just save my order card for later. Just going straight to battle phase. First up, Curtis attacks the Vanguard, 23k. She blocks it with a heal trigger, 28k. Alright, Baromagnes attacks the Vanguard. 23k. Skill. Counter Blast 1.
このスキルで決着よ
Drawing a card. And power critical. A great 2. Not bad. Okay.
ノーガード
Here it comes. Twin Drive. First check. No trigger. And second check.
ドライブチェック
No trigger. Okay. 2 damage to my opponent.
私のヴァンガード
The attack rains down. And boom.
ダメージ
Damage
チェッ
check first. No trigger. Safe. And second check.
クダメージチェック
Oh, come on. Critical? Seriously? Why does she keep getting so lucky with all the triggers?
パワープラス
Boosted by Swirler. Curtis attacks the Vanguard. 36k. She guards with a heal trigger. 38k.
ガードする
Alright. And alright, attack blocked. That's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn.
ターンエンド私のターン
My opponent is going to Persona Ride Kyrie. Persona Riding, Power Added, and drawing a card. Okay. She calls a grade 3 Kinky.
パ
Okay.
ワープラス
Adding power. Oh, it's a lot. Not good.
ヴァンガードに当た
Rear guard attacks the Vanguard. No guard. Let it go through.
ノーガード
And out.
ダメージチェッ
Damage check. No trigger. Oh, come on. Baromagnes. Seriously?
クヴァンガードに当た
Vanguard to Vanguard. Okay. I gotta avoid this at all costs. She might get it critical, so she returns cards. I'm gonna perfect guard with this one, and for the cost, I'm gonna discard.
スキル発動
Gotta hold on to my normal units to attack with or use their skill, so I'll just ditch one of the triggers in my hand for the
回
cost.
転ガードドライブチェック
Twin Drive first check. Yes, I called it critical.
クリティカルプラス
She gives it all to the rear
パワ
guard.
ープラス
And second check. No trigger, safe. Alright. And alright. Attack blocked. Now on
しか負けない
Kyrie's skill, she superior calls 2 new cards to attack
ス
with.
ペリオルコール
Calling
スキル発動
Kinky, okay. Adding power
パワープラス
and
ヴァンガードに当た
attacking again. Gotta save up my hand to block the remaining attacker plus critical, so just let this one go through. No guard.
ノーガード
Alright, here comes the attack. Ow!
ダメージチェッ
Damage
ク
check. No trigger, okay. Here comes the final attack, 30k. I block with 2 cards. Wait, let's see. Guard with a heal and a loot lead, 33k, just enough.
ガード
And okay, the attack is blocked, I'm safe.
ターン
Alright, end of turn. My turn, standard draw, perfect guard, okay. Skipping ride phase, going to battle phase. I activate the order card, Pandemonium Tactics. I counter blast 1
オーダー発動
and soul charge 4. I pick an ability to resolve. I activate Swirler skill,
発動
soul charge, power up. Again, power up,
スキル発動パワープラス
and adding more power,
スキル発動
adding more
パ
power,
ワープラス
and adding more power.
スキル発動パワープラス
Then next, I call Curtis to the rear guard. Call
コール
skill, soul charge 2. 1, 2, okay. Skill again, adding power,
パワープラス
and again, adding power.
スキル発動パワープラス
Then next, I call Loot Lead to the rear guard. Call skill, counterblast 1. Send any number of normal units back to my deck. I send 3. I'm sending. Let's see. I'll send a perfect guard, Tigra, and 1 engraver back to my deck.
プラス
Power added for each card returns. Back to 9 cards. And okay, that should be enough. So next up, I'm going to go to the battle phase. Lootly attacks the Vanguard,
ヴァンガードに
25k.
アタック
She guards the attack, okay.
ガードするわ
And now, boosted by Swirler, Curtis attacks the Vanguard,
ヴァンガードにアタック
51k.
ノーガー
The attack goes through, and raining down, boom.
ドダメージ
One damage check, no trigger, Kyrie, okay. Now, Magnus attacks the Vanguard, skill activated, counterblast
こ
1.
のスキルで決着よ
I draw a card, draw trigger, adding power to critical,
プラス
returning, sending all rear guards to the soul. I'm calling 2 new ones. I'm calling. Let's see. I'm adding. Let's see. I'm calling. This is a tough choice. Okay. I'm first gonna choose Tigra and one more rear guard to call. Okay, then I guess I'll call Lootly? Wait, I don't have enough counterblast. Cannot use Lootly's skill. Okay, not gonna use Lootly. Ah, wait. Not using. I'm taking the rear guards. Tigra and. Deep Sonicer. Calling these two. 1 and 2. Power added.
パワープラス
Tigra skill.
スキル発動
Second skill. Power to the
パ
front
ワ
row.
ープラス
She double guards. 43k. Over 2 to pass. First check. No trigger. Perfect guard. And second
ド
check.
ライブチェック
No trigger. Perfect guard. Okay. Attack blocks. Next up. Deep Sonicer attacks the Vanguard. 33k. Perfect guard. Not good.
スキル発動
Alright. She's discarding.
完全ガー
Okay.
ドするわ
Attack blocked. Tigra attacks the Vanguard. 25k.
ヴァンガードにアタッ
Guards with a heal trigger. Not good.
クガード
And that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn.
ターンエンドスタンドアンドドー
My opponent is
コール
calling a rear guard. Calling, okay.
ヴァンガードにアタッ
Vanguard to Vanguard. I perfect guard. For the perfect guard cost, I guess I'll discard a draw trigger. Hold on to the rest of my
ク
hand.
ドライブチェック
She twin drives. First check. No trigger. Safe. And second check. No trigger. Safe. Alright. Attack blocked. Survived. Next, here comes
リアガ
the
ード
rear guard. I guard if a. I gotta protect my rear guard, so I'll guard if a heal trigger. Attack blocked.
ガード
Okay, safe. Next up, here comes one more attack from the rear
リ
guard.
アガードにアタック
Again, block up a trigger. Protect my rear guard Deep Sonicer.
ガード
Alright. Attack is blocked. My Sonicer is safe. That's the end of my opponent's turn. It's my turn. Stand and draw. Okay. 5 cards left. Going straight to main phase. I move Sonicer to the back row. And call Selfish Engraver.
コール
And Stem Deviate to the rear guards.
コール
That should be enough. Go into battle phase. Hold on. My opponent has 4 cards left in hand. I'm already almost out of cards, so I'm gonna risk everything in this turn, calling my perfect guard to the back row. Go into battle phase. Boosted by Recusal Hate. Baromagnes attacks the Vanguard. 19k. My opponent guards with an over trigger. Yes, their over trigger is out of the deck.
ドライブチェ
Twin
ック
drive. First check. No trigger. And second
ドライ
check.
ブチェック
No trigger. 2 tactics. Alright. Attack blocked. Alright. Boosted by Sonicer.
ヴァンガードに
Engraver attacks the Vanguard. 28k. Ah, perfect guard. Come on.
発動
Discarding.
完全ガードする
Okay. And now, boosted by Stem Deviate. Tigra attacks. Not gonna activate skill. Wait. Yeah, not gonna activate skill. So just gonna go straight to the next attack.
ヴァン
Attack.
ガードにアタック
14k. Intercepting. Alright.
インターセプト
And okay, that's all I can do for this turn. So now it's my opponent's turn.
ターンエンドスタンドアンドドー
Here comes
コール
a rear guard. Another rear guard. Not good.
ヴァンガードにアタックするわ
Okay.
スキル発動
And skill. Alright, I intercept with Engraver. Attack blocks.
インターセプト
Okay. Next, here comes one more attack from the
ヴァン
Vanguard.
ガードにアタックするわ
I perfect skill the Vanguard, returning 2 cards back to hand. Okay. I perfect guard. For the perfect guard cost, I discard. Let's see.
発動
One of the order cards, Pandemonium Tactics.
完全ガードドライブチェッ
Twin Drive, first check. Ah, draw trigger. Come on, of all the cards.
クパワープラス
Okay, adding power to rear guard and second check. No trigger. Okay. The attack is blocked. Here comes the last attack from the rear guard, 18k. Guarding Blade draw trigger. Skill plus 5,000 shield, 23k. Safe.
ガード
Okay. That's all for my opponent, so it's my turn. Stand and draw. I call go into main phase. I call Kigra to the rear guard. Kigra's skill powers the front row. There we go. Power added. That's all I can do now. Just go into battle phase. Boosted by Sonicer. Kigra attacks the Vanguard. 33k. My opponent guards with their entire hand. Okay.
ガード
Just barely enough. Alright, the final attack. Boosted by Stem Deviate. Kigra on the right attacks the Vanguard. 19k.
ノーガ
They
ード
cannot guard. And slash. 1 damage. Damage check.
ドロートリガー
Draw trigger. Yes. They cannot heal.
パワープラス
Okay. 6 damage. I win.
にも負けないから
Huh. No, that was tough. But not too bad. I got to try out at least some of the cards I put in the deck. And I got to use my skills. So it all worked out pretty well, I guess. So I got win. Attack 50,000 more power. Attack 5 or more times in 1 turn. Perfect guarded 3 more times. Drew an over trigger. Did it for Soda Ride. 12 turns passed. Did a superior call. Retired 5 or more opposing units. And drew 3 or more times in 1 turn. I got 3150 BP. 9925 BP. Alright, press A to go next. Leaving the fight. Returning to fight menu.
どのファイターに
Leaving fight menu. Returning to
どの
main
ファイトに
menu.
する
And okay.
どのモード
So
が
pretty much finish building the deck, explain the cards, effects in front of you, and test out the deck in front of you. And with that, that's just about all the time we have for today. So first off, we want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all soon.